This video contains flashing lights, disturbing visuals, scary content, violent graphic images, and jump scares. Viewer discretion advised. Sonic.exe.
Sonic.exe is about a strange Sonic game CD that could either be glitchy, hacked, or possibly made by someone other than Sega. It was given to a guy named Tom from a friend called Cole who apparently hasn't seen for 2 weeks. When Tom begins playing the game, he notices strange things that weren't present in the original Sonic games. For starters, the split second when he presses start, the total screen changes, the sea is red, the sky is dark, and Sonic's eyes are black with red dots. Sega 666 also appears in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. Upon starting the first level, the music starts playing slower and slower until we discover horrific mutilated animals. When Tails meets a twisted version of Sonic, they're teleported to the next level, which takes place in a forest on fire. The player is frantically chased by Sonic, who cannot be outrun. Then their scream is heard, and they are returned to the title screen. It appears that Tails is no longer selectable. Knuckles and Robotnik also appear to have been chased by this twisted version of Sonic in different levels before being overwhelmed. Once all 3 characters were defeated, the game would static, and then Sonic would appear with the phrase
Polybius.
You may have heard of the game Polybius, released only in a small arcade in a suburb of Portland, Oregon. It is infamous for causing nightmares, amnesia, and even suicide in those who played it. Little else was known for decades, but a recent disclosure by an employee of the company who developed it revealed several details about it. The first surprise was who developed it. Many had speculated that the United States military developed it for an unknown purpose, probably related to psychological warfare or something. While the US government did indeed commission it, they hired another company to actually make it, and that company was Nintendo. It turns out that Nintendo had another idea. Hiroshi Yamauchi, president of Nintendo, had heard about the United States military's desires to build a game to be used for psychological attacks. He managed to get the contract and ordered Miyamoto to create the game, using the opportunity to make the game he really wanted to, Donkey Kong, as incentive. Miyamoto was given some kind of outline by the United States military, which he refused to discuss. The normally cheerful Miyamoto became very quiet and withdrawn, not letting anyone, even Yamauchi, see his work on Polybius. Creating a game takes a good deal of work, and how Miyamoto managed to hide traces of his work on Polybius was quite baffling to the people aware of this incident. The solution was apparently hidden in the very first arcade machine called Donkey Kong, which still resides in the Nintendo headquarters in Japan. It is, however, sealed away, never to be used, by anyone except for Miyamoto. Donkey Kong was made from modified radar scope hardware, and it seems Miyamoto used this trick to hide the remains of Polybius. When confronted with the so-called rumor of Polybius, Miyamoto will deny any involvement with the idea.
Gygas from Earthbound.
This is the last part of the game, when things start to become freakishly weird. Things become totally out of hand and disturbing when you reach the final boss, Gygas. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of videos and topics about this boss, and yes, we are covering it in the bosses list, but that's besides the point. At first it just has a scary face, but its second transformation is this. Let's stop the image, please. This version of Gygas looks incredibly similar to the outline of an aborted fetus, and no, this is not a strange coincidence. In interviews with the game's creator, he confesses to having based this image on a childhood experience. It was him walking into the wrong theater and witnessing a Japanese movie called The Military Policeman and the Dismembered Beauty. He actually thought he was watching a rape. Whatever it was truly scarred him for life, and this boss was meant to represent what it was that he witnessed.
Then drowned.
Probably the creepiest story associated with any video game must be the bizarre tale of a mysterious N64 cartridge. The story was first posted on 4chan's board, in a paranormal form, by a user called Jaduzable. It was accompanied by various unusual in-game videos as proof. His story started with how he was given an old second-hand copy of Majora's Mask by a strange man. He overwrote the save game he found on the cartridge, simply named Ben in all caps. but found that as he played through the game, NPCs were still calling him by that name. Then, when he went to exploit a well-known glitch, which gives players more time to play the game, everything became very strange. The music began to run backwards. All the other characters disappeared, and he found himself followed by a strange statue of Link, a statue that kept materializing wherever he ran. Then, the game simply began to kill him, over and over, while taunting him with phrases like, "That won't do you any good," and "You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you?" New save games appeared on his cartridge, including the Ben one that he deleted, and another named Drowned, and beneath that, another saying, "Your turn."
Hey guys, I'm not just hammering up on this is actually pretty freaky. The last one I just made, which was Ben Drowned, has crashed my Vegas program so many times. And I'm not joking here, I'm actually being honest. I've never had this much problem making this particular video, and this is number one. I've been spent half an hour trying to get this video to actually save, and it's not been saving. So that's kind of a creepy fact too, just putting it out there.